S.
F.
J!
Yeah, that Kim Jong-il Jr.'s crazy, man.
Yeah, he's barely better than Billy the Bilby Buggerer.
Billy the Bilby Booger?
You know, Billy the Bilby Buggerer. Hello, and welcome to another Beardo's True Stories from Australian history. In October last year, a woman from Brisbane named Jenna Louise Driscoll was arrested and charged with bestiality after a number of videos were found on her mobile phone of Driscoll having sex with a dog. Naturally, the Australian public loves a good bestiality scandal, and the tabloid newspapers had a field day. The story was particularly big because Driscoll wasn't what you would imagine most zoophiles looking like. At this point, gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to the DuckDuckGo document, and if you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll find a photo of Miss Driscoll.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, it looks like one of Rod Stewart's daughters.
The Australian public's fascination with bestiality scandals is not new. When Europeans first colonised Australia, they heard talk that the local indigenous population, known as the Eora tribe, did occasionally engage in bestiality. Their animal of choice, it was said, was the wallaby, as these were easier to catch, less aggressive and easier to handle than the larger and stronger eastern grey kangaroo. The Eora even had their own word for someone who committed bestiality. They called this person a gunalaba, which translates in the Eora language as tail lifter. However, Australia's first big public bestiality scandal centres around an Englishman rather than a native. William Alexander Flagon was a convict from the south of England who arrived in Australia with the first fleet of British convicts in 1788. Billy Flagon, as he was known, was convicted as a 15-year-old under the Buggery Act of 1533 for carnal knowledge of a miniature stallion. He was sentenced to transportation to serve 10 years of hard labour in Australia. Billy Flagon served his time, but like many freed convicts, he elected to remain in Australia to try his hand at business in the growing colony of Sydney. Flagon, now in his late 20s, set up shop as a cobbler and hat maker and became very successful. He married, had a family, and grew his business. By the 1820s, when Flagon was in his late 40s, he was one of the richest men in Sydney and a widely respected businessman who owned a number of shops, pubs, and agricultural markets. Flagon's public respect, however, came crashing down on Christmas Eve of 1823. The Governor of Sydney, Sir Thomas Brisbane, after whom the capital of Queensland and the home of Jenna Louise Driscoll was named, was throwing the annual Christmas Eve party for the colony's rich and powerful. The Governor's mansion had, since the late 1790s, housed a menagerie of Australian animals, so that visitors from England could see for themselves the strange creatures Australia harboured. Under the influence of a quantity of rum, Billy Flagon was found sexually mistreating a rare Australian marsupial known as a bilby, a relative of the bandicoot. Word quickly spread, and Flagon began to be known throughout the colony as Billy the Bilby Buggerer. This name stuck in the cultural consciousness. Even today, almost 200 years later, you'll hear people be described as no better than Billy the Bilby Buggerer, and this is the story of the origin of this famous Australian phrase. Thanks, and join me next time for another true story from Australian history. Hooroo. Ah, Billy the Bilby Buggerer.
S.
F.
J!